There are many NBA legends with not so great finals records. In this video, we're going to run the hypothetical and assume they all pulled a Jordan and grabbed a perfect finals record, and then discuss the legacies of said scenario for both the player and his competition. Who better to start with than LeBron James? LeBron's current finals record is 4-6. He's been there 10 times so far, but what if he was 10-0? No question, if LeBron won every single finals he showed up to, he would be the undisputed GOAT, because he's already one of the GOATs with his losing finals record. Him being one ring shy of Bill Russell in the modern NBA would certainly put the king in King James. Keep in mind, LeBron has been to 8 straight NBA finals from 2011 to 2018. If he won all 8 of those in a row, he would match Bill Russell being a player to 8-peat. But what about his competition in this scenario? He would first beat a 2007 Spurs team, and that would be one of his most, if not his most impressive feat at age 22, going all the way to the finals and then winning it. That would be awesome. For comparison, when Jordan was 23, he got bounced out of the first round being swept by the Celtics. When LeBron was 22, he went all the way to the finals. Sure, he got swept, but at least he made it there. Back to the topic on hand, Tim Duncan's ring total would drop from 5 to 3 since LeBron would beat him all 3 times they faced instead of just once. Dwayne Wade would have 5 rings, maybe 6 if you count his 2018 tenure with the Cavs. He would have 4 straight with LeBron in Miami, plus his 1-06, and let's stop there at 5 rings. That would put him equivalent to Kobe, which would make the second best shooting guard debate even more close. But if you want to give Wade his 6th ring, you're also going to give Derrick Rose a ring for also being in that 2018 roster. Kyrie Irving would have 3 rings, and J.R. Smith would have 5 rings. In this hypothetical universe, Kevin Durant would have 0 rings and go 0 for 4 in the NBA Finals so far. His legacy would be in shambles. He would be known as not only a ring chaser, but one who couldn't even successfully team hop. His credibility currently in the public eye is already pretty hollow since not many people respect his current Warriors rings. Steph Curry would be 1 for 6 in the NBA Finals, only winning a ring against the Celtics in 2022. He would not be seen as a top 10 player. Curry would be more so like a Damian Lillard type guard who finally grabbed at least 1 ring before he left his prime. Obviously, as of this upload, Damian is ringless, but many people say that the difference between Curry and Damian is just a trophy case. Or maybe he'd be seen as like a Dirk Nowitzki type who would stick with one team no matter what and then finally grab that 1 ring in his mid-30s. Speaking of which, Dirk Nowitzki himself would retire with 0 rings, which would probably be the saddest part about this hypothetical. He would go down as one of the best ringless players. The Cleveland Cavaliers franchise would have 5 championships, and the Miami Heat would also have 5. They would have more rings than the Spurs and Warriors, since we knocked some of those banners down and gave them to LeBron's teams. And since we spent this LeBron segment bashing Steph Curry and KD, let's talk about what would happen if they went undefeated in their finals appearances. I'll start with Durant. If Kevin Durant went 4-0 in his finals appearances, he would take the Raptors' only ring, keep his 2 against Cleveland LeBron, and grab 1 more in 2012 against Heat LeBron, which would be his most impressive win. His 2012 victory would make Russell Westbrook and James Harden champions. They would all be MVPs with rings, and their legacies would be seen as far greater than they already are. KD leaving OKC would not be seen as ring chasing as much, since he already gave them a title. He owes them nothing after that, though joining the team that just beat him would still look pretty weak if we're being critically honest. LeBron's ring total would drop to 3 instead of 4. I don't think his legacy would take too big of a hit, considering many people consider LeBron the GOAT when he only had 3 rings, and very few even consider him the GOAT when he only had 2 rings.
I'm a champion, 2 times, 2 rings.
He would still be seen as a top 5 player, maybe not top 2, but top 5 is nothing to scoff at. Of course, many would rank KD ahead of LeBron since LeBron would never be able to beat Kevin Durant in the finals and Durant would be 3-0 against LBJ. As for KD with 4 rings, his biggest competition actually is going to be his own teammate for that top GOAT spot, being Steph Curry. Speaking of which, if Steph Curry won all 6 of his finals, he would be like MJ going 6-0 so far in his career. He would 5-peat, winning in 2015, 16, 17, 18, and 2019, doing something MJ couldn't even do. Curry would be closer to the likes of Bill Russell, who 8-peated. He would then tag one more in 2022, giving him a perfect 6-0 record. LeBron's ring total would drop from 4 to 3, but he would not have that 3-1 comeback ring, and he would have not have fulfilled his promise to Cleveland. So those two could probably actually hurt more than the total number of rings, quality over quantity. LeBron would still likely be seen as a top 10 player, but only having 2 Heat rings in Wade County and then 1 Mickey Mouse ring, his top 2 all-time case will be tougher. At least in the Durant hypothetical universe, LeBron still had his 3-1 comeback ring, which is easily his most valuable ring. As for who would be in that top 2, Curry himself would make a great choice for that spot. He would have more rings than Kobe, Magic, and Tim Duncan. He's already seen as the greatest shooter of all time, and the only thing that would separate him from Michael Jordan would be that people would still say that MJ is the better defender, and thus his two-way play would probably keep his GOAT status. But Curry would easily be seen as the best point guard of all time, ahead of Magic, with 6 rings to Magic's 5. Speaking of which, if Magic Johnson went 9-0 and won all 9 of his finals appearances, in this scenario, he would easily be the GOAT. He would take one of Jordan's rings, dropping his ring total from 6 to 5. Jordan would not have a perfect finals record or 2 different 3-peats. Larry Bird would only have 2 rings. Magic would go 3-0 undefeated against Larry, really putting that debate to a close. But Magic isn't the only Laker legend who would benefit greatly from a perfect finals record. Because what if Kobe or Shaq went undefeated in the finals? Let's start with Superman and then talk about Batman. Shaq lost twice in the NBA Finals, once to the Rockets in 1995 and then of course in 2004 to the Pistons. If Shaq won both of those series, he would have gone 6-0 in the NBA Finals. He would have been tied with MJ and have the same record. The only thing that would protect MJ's legacy as GOAT would be that Shaq would only be able to win the rings while MJ was retired, or when say MJ was completely out of his prime. But that wouldn't be super strong of an argument considering that the Orlando Magic actually beat the Chicago Bulls in the playoffs before. As for Kobe, if he won every finals appearance, he would have 7 rings, beating the 2008 Celtics and the 2004 Pistons. Kobe would 3-peat with Shaq, and then he would 3-peat on his own. If they made it to the finals in 2003, they could have 5-peated, but 2 different 3-peats is still pretty good, especially his later 3-peat winning in 2008, 2009, and in 2010. He would have 1 more ring than MJ, playing a similar style as MJ in a similar Phil Jackson triangle. Kobe is already kinda seen as an MJ 2.0 with 1 less ring. In this universe, he would be an MJ 2.0 with 1 more ring. Having 7 over 6 while also going 7-0, many would easily consider Kobe the GOAT. The only thing MJ would have over Kobe would be the amount of MVPs for the regular season, but we all know that Kobe should have had way more than just the one he won. Rest in peace to the Mamba. And to end this video off, I want to talk about 2 really special players whose legacies probably wouldn't change that much since they're already so great and their finals record is pretty good. First is Bill Russell. He would have 12 rings instead of 11, and his legacy would be likely the same. Many people consider Bill Russell an all-time great, but his era is tougher to compare to the modern era. And not many people even know Bill Russell lost his second finals appearance, which was his second year in the NBA. The only biggest difference in this hypothetical would be that Bill would have 10-peated instead of 8-peated. Both are amazing feats. Rest in peace to the legendary Bill Russell. And then we have Tim Duncan, a player with a near perfect finals record, but was 1 win shy, possibly even 1 rebound or 1 substitution away from going 6-0. Because if he was on that court, Chris Bosh may have not gotten that rebound to pass to Ray Allen, and who knows how that Game 6 would have ended. If Tim Duncan won the 2013 NBA Finals along with his other 5 finals wins, he would have the same record as Michael Jordan. We would drop LeBron's ring total from 4 to 3. More specifically, the LeBron to Miami experiment would have been a complete fail, meaning LeBron would be 1-4 with a Heat super team, only being able to beat a baby Thunder team. And the cherry on top would be that T-Mac would end his career with a ring since he was technically a part of that 2013 Spurs roster. Now would 6 rings make Tim Duncan the GOAT? Honestly, I think his career would be seen more like Kareem's, since Kareem has 6 rings, and people consider him top 3 but not the undisputed GOAT. Unfortunately, Timmy is going to be underrated no matter what. So which players do you think would benefit the most from a perfect finals record, and which players would have the most to lose if their titles were stripped? Let me know in the comments below, and maybe we could do a part 2 of this discussion. Don't forget to dunk on that like button and subscribe with notifications turned on. I'm Rebound Rewind, and I'll fast forward to you later.